Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Happy Sunday. Happy Virgo Solar Eclipse. Lots of energy today. Please just let me know in the comments that you can hear and see me okay. And we will begin because we have a lot to look at today. We're going to be looking at how this eclipse is hitting our health sector here in the US. And certainly we're going to be talking about the hunger survey by the USDA that is canceled, food insecurity. Yes, I'm good. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Welcome, Palma, Elsie, Becky, Chris. And welcome to all my new members. Beautiful. Thank you. If you haven't already, please hit like, subscribe, share, leave a good comment. I appreciate those. And check out membership. We have a lot going on every Tuesday at the angel level. We have the psychic development class through Zoom. You get the link. It's really easy to use. And next Sunday, if you have been wanting to learn tarot, especially if you've wanted to learn before Halloween, I am doing a one-day course. It will be about 4 hours and everything you need to know. And that's at the Awaken Your Mind and above level, but you'll also get access to the whole tarot course playlist, and you can watch more and go more in depth if you like. So we're going to be looking, like I said, at the food insecurity and the hunger issue here in the US. We're also, because we've looked at the when and the why, we're now going to be looking at how 45 leaves office. We're going to be talking about media freedom and censorship. We saw how Jimmy Kimmel got suspended. That's something that I think we should look at. We're also going to be talking about, and I don't think this is getting enough coverage. Tell me what you think, but I think this is shocking. You know, this is as if Nixon tweeted out, this is what Hillary Clinton said, if Nixon tweeted out the Watergate scandal instead of secret tapes. So 45, instead of, I don't know if he meant to do an email or a text to Attorney General Pam Bondi, but he put it on social media for all of us to see. And wow, was that eye-opening. He wants her to bring criminal cases against his political opponents. He named Comey, Schiff, Letitia James. He wants to prosecute his political rivals. This isn't my opinion. This is actually what our president said. Also, I just wanted to briefly touch on his trip to the UK. And I watched about 10 minutes of it. And I have to say, I just wasn't liking what I was feeling. It didn't resonate with me. I felt like every other word was either unprecedented or the phrase, this is a first. And so I really felt that the royal family went above and beyond what they needed to do, what they've ever done in their history for any sitting president. I did not enjoy watching that. I was a bit disturbed by it. And so I I bounced out of that. Not to mention, and I never talk about how people dress because I don't think it matters what people look like. I really prefer on reading people's souls and energy. But so often, you know, the way that we present ourselves with our clothes speaks volumes. And the clothes that Melania chose to wear, wow, those big hats hiding her visage. You couldn't see who was there. It was very strange energy. So let's get into it without further delay. I'm just seeing everybody come in. Beautiful. Okay, so here we go. So this eclipse, now, first of all, it's a Virgo eclipse. So Virgo does have to deal with health. It does have to deal with food, even what we put in our bodies, what we ingest. And I am going to go ahead and make a prediction that, and I understand that eclipses, especially solar eclipses, can take time to unravel and unfurl what's going to happen. But I am going to predict that in the next few days, we're going to hear this administration say something shocking to do with the health sector of the US. Something that really, I think, is going to set us back, you know, both literally set us back as a country, but also set us back just sort of like we're kind of rocking back in our heels, like, whoa, what did I just hear? I do feel they're going to make some sort of announcement that is health related that is not going to sit well with the majority of Americans or the rest of the world. I am concerned about that. So I find it bombastic that the USDA hunger survey was canceled. You can cancel a survey, but what you can't cancel is hunger. And we are at an all-time high for food insecurity. That is a real problem. That is an issue in this country. And it doesn't get solved by canceling a survey and pretending that it doesn't exist. I know here where I live in Salem, because of the cuts from this administration, we have lost, it was like a market that we had, it's like a food store that you can go into where the food is oftentimes very fresh from like local farms, and it's at a reduced rate. And we no longer have that. Also, our food pantry here has made many public pleas because the money that they had been promised is now not coming. So this is having some real effects that I'm seeing in my own neighborhood. So let's look at the food insecurity issue, the hunger issue in the US. In a country that is as prosperous as ours, we shouldn't be having this discussion. I remember my mother saying that one of the most amazing and beautiful things about the United States is that we have so many different kinds of climates. The country is so big, it's so vast, that we can grow almost everything that we need. Almost, not everything, but almost. And that's pretty special. But when you start defunding the farmers and just doing everything that this administration is doing to hurt our food production, that's an issue. Let's pull some cards on this. I agree with Chalkman 33. Robert K. Jr. is a real problem. Absolutely. Okay, here we go. First card, 8 of Swords. That's how we're all feeling. In general, I think, like our hands are tied. But what I will say is we do have the freedom to move forward. We do not have to stay stuck. And like I keep saying, raise your vibration to the point that you're not being affected by these things, right? Because the thing with the 8 of Swords, first of all, her feet are free, her binds are loose. She can take off that blindfold and move forward. So not all is lost, but I do think that we are feeling that pressure, that energy of, oh, we're stuck like this. You know, this is why I've moved my camera back, because I want you to see that I am not manipulating the cards. The Devil card. So yes, something fiendish, something devilish. I would say not feeding our hungry, the people that need it the most, canceling food programs at schools and not giving food to the pantries, and that is devilish, that is fiendish, and it is like holding people hostage. The 2 characters at the bottom are chained. So it's interesting how the first 2 cards are about feeling constricted and chained. 8 of Cups. Can you see that? I have a ring light behind the camera, so I'm trying to make it so you can see it still. So what I would say about that is I feel really strongly guided to say this is 45 walking away. I've been reading on him again and again. You guys know, week after week, I read on this man, and I just keep coming up with the same sort of cards. So that tells me this is temporary. This isn't going to last forever. Let's do one last card to just read on this whole food insecurity, hunger issue in the US. Yes, taking away the migrant workers who pick the crops is an issue. We have crops just sitting there rotting in fields, and we have hungry people. How absurd is that? It's cruel, is what it is. Okay, so I love that we got the 6 of Cups. The 6 of Cups is a return to normalcy. This is temporary. And I've said so many times to all of you in these lives and in my videos, don't focus on the micro. Yes, they canceled the survey. Let's take a step back, look at the macro. This isn't going to last forever. I think we're going to learn and grow. Let's look at the positive. Yes, in the meantime, it's going to cause problems for the people that need food. I'm not oblivious to that. I'm not saying that. I get that. I mean, I see it in my own community. But also, too, that gives so many of us chances to be of service to others. It gives us chances to help others, to donate food. And, I always say, because most of us don't make so much money that you can donate effectively to many charities. What I do is with my local food pantry, they can get access to human food much easier than pet food. And I'll tell you, when I bring in the pet food, it is flying off the shelves. They will actually just take it out of the trunk of the car. People will just come and, ask, can I take some food for my cat, for my dog? So that's how I contribute. You may contribute differently, but we can all help out. So, all right, let's move on. Let us look at how 45 leaves office. We have looked at the when and the why, and we have read on that. Now let's look at the how. What do we need to know about the how? Oh, the cards are jumpy already. Okay. All right, how? How is he walking away? What do we need to know? Okay. You can't make this up. This is why I like showing my hands. So there's only 3 cards in tarot. The carriage is back. They're turned. They're going. This is one of the 3. In the previous reading, we got the 8 of Cups. This is the 6 of Swords. That is validation from Spirit. He's going. He's going. He's leaving. Okay. So we're looking at the how, and we get Ace of Swords. Well, that's the sword of truth. That's like the throat chakra opening, and honest communication is coming out. So how? Well, it has to do with truth coming out, something being communicated that he can't escape. I truly do feel, this is the 3 of Swords, because I know a lot of you listen, you watch this more as a podcast. I do feel he's going to use his health as an excuse. Now, some of you have said, yes, but that doesn't excuse him per se. He needs to remain president so he doesn't go to jail, all of that. And what I will say as a dementia practitioner, no, there actually are situations where somebody is too unhealthy to withstand trial. He would have his, and I said this years ago, that he was going to have his lawyers work on something that would get him out of this, almost like a doctor's note. Like, look, I'm not in control. I didn't know what I was doing. Because as a dementia practitioner, people like me have to take a stand, literally, like in the courtroom, and say if the person is competent or not. Now, you take someone who's not ethical, you can buy them, you can pay them. And for instance, here in Massachusetts, we just had an incident a few days ago in a nursing home where there was 2 dementia patients sharing a room, and one took the life of the other one. Now, both of them were very, apparently, from what I read, were very deep into dementia. And one had a lot of anger issues. Now, the nursing home, I do believe, will be held responsible because they have the duty to keep the other person safe. The other person probably should have been sectioned and, had medications. But that person, I highly doubt, is going to be put through the legal system in any meaningful way. And that's what I'm trying to say I see for 45. Okay. Let's do one more. Oh, Lord have mercy. You cannot make this up. The Tower card. This is his life falling apart. His very core, what grounds him, his personal base gets shaken. His foundation is just shaken to the core. Because I will tell you, the Jeffrey E. scandal is not going away. So I hope that this was helpful. My cards have been extremely consistent with this. And I'm glad so many of you liked my pendulum predictions. I'm doing that again this week. For those of you that want the quick yes, no, and we looked at so many different things. I did 10 questions, rapid fire, and I'm glad so many of you enjoyed that format, and I will do it again this week. So, okay. So I think the fact that he wrote, I don't know if it's supposed to be a text or an email, none of us know for sure, to Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. And Hillary Clinton said it best. This would be as if Nixon tweeted out the Watergate scandal instead of having the secret tapes. He openly said he was trying to get the Attorney General to bring criminal cases against his political opponents. He named Comey, Schiff, Letitia James. He wants to prosecute his political rivals. He said it in writing. Now, that's problematic in and of itself that he wants to do this as a sitting president. But what I'm also more interested in is his mental state of mind. That's a big mistake to make, because yourself, if you go to text something, that's very different than opening an app to any social media platform, right? That's a very different process. Or if this was meant to be an email, well, opening your email app is different and it looks different. So how did he make this mistake? And I do believe this was a mistake. This was not, because they deleted it very quickly. So that tells you a lot about his cognition. When we saw him in the UK this past week, you could see the right side of his face is still drooping. You could also see there was something very strange going on with his feet. There's been lots of pictures. I've looked at them many times. I don't know what to think. Clearly, he is wearing 2 different shoes. I would say that's not an accident, though. But the ballet teacher in me noticed in these pictures that instead of his feet being flat, he is rolling outwards. His feet are like this. And my question would be, were they always like this? Was he born going out towards his little toes? Or has he had some sort of change in, well, let me phrase it this way. Has he had a neurological change? Because neurological issues can show up in your feet, right? So let's see if anything's going to come of this whole Pam Bondi situation. All right, so him and Peanut. Is anything going to happen? Okay. All right, well, Two of Cups. That's him communicating with her. It's a man and a woman facing each other, right? So that's just spirit saying, yeah, all right, we're talking about that. Yeah, so the Sun card is about enlightenment. So we did learn a lot from that, didn't we? That was shocking. And let's be honest, if it wasn't him doing it, and imagine if it was Biden or Obama that did this. Oh, Fox News would be having a conniption fit, right? We would have protests outside. Things would be crazy. But because it's him, it's like, whatever. Okay, it's just another normal day. Okay, how many times can we get he's walking away, he's leaving, the man is going. He's going. Interesting. Knight of Cups. I am going to take that as this grows legs, but not, say, this week or next. I don't know who this is, but I do feel like someone higher up in a government agency has taken this and just tucked it away for a rainy day. So I don't think we're going to hear something huge on the news in the next few weeks about this, but this is going to come back to haunt him later. That's what I'm getting. Okay. So media freedom and censorship, it's a little scary that we're living in a time where we have a sitting president that is basically dictating what we can see on TV. That's what North Korea does, not America, or not until now. When I take a step back and I look at the bigger picture, what I will say is I think late night TV is ending in general. I can't tell you the last time. I mean, it's been probably 10 years since I've watched it. But then again, who even watches those channels anymore? Who even has cable? And so I think it's something that's going out, right? I know a lot of people grew up watching Johnny Carson and that sort of thing, but I think those days are over. And what I believe we're seeing, and 45 may indirectly be this like very strange catalyst for this, where it's just going away. Just like the news is going away and the talk shows are going away. The number one watched platform in the world is YouTube, getting billions of views all the time. YouTube outranks Netflix, Hulu, cable. And who really cares about a late night show where they're really just promoting something, right? Usually it's a movie or a record album, but that's not the point. I'm just saying I'm taking a bigger step back. But the point that I think is concerning is that we've now had somebody be censored. And I've watched it multiple times. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't seeing something false, but I didn't really think what Jimmy Kimmel said was that bad. First of all, after it first happened with Charlie and what happened there, he did take a moment of silence that night. He was respectful. What I think the administration did not appreciate is that he showed an actual clip, and I did make sure that this clip was real. It was undoctored, unedited, and that was the issue. It was the president's response to what happened to Charlie, because a reporter asked him about it and he was like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's bad, but you know what, we're redoing the ballroom. Okay, not the right response. And the fact that Jimmy called it out, don't say something that you're going to regret later. His speech should be more measured, for sure. So let's just look at the freedom of speech in the media for the rest of 2025. What do we need to know? Now, members, when we do the Let's Chat tonight, I'm actually going to get into Jimmy Kimmel and what I believe is going to happen to him. We're going to dive deeper, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on Charlie. Oh, okay, cards are getting energetic here. Okay. Queen of Swords. All right, so that makes me feel almost like something litigious, legal starts to happen. King of Pentacles. Okay, so these are pretty strong cards. I'm so sorry about the ring light. I need it, but I'm also trying to like make it so you guys can see the cards, okay? Two of Cups. Let's do one more. Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so what I like about these cards is that they're very grounded, they're very stable, and there's no chaos here. So I believe this administration is putting in distractions. So, like, did Charlie actually pass? Did that really happen? Of course it did. But is it being capitalized on to make a distraction, to get people upset? Well, now every university has to have a statue of him, right? That's to get people fired up. And if that university does do it, then you don't go there, right? You vote with your feet, so to speak. So some of this I think is distraction, even though I think it's based in reality, but it's to distract us. So, I think Queen of Swords, things become fair and balanced. This is not going to, I think, spiral ridiculously. King of Pentacles, that's being very grounded, very practical. I like this energy. Two of Cups, people working out deals here. So people coming together, compromises, agreements. And Knight of Pentacles is once again a very grounded, steadfast card. Out of all the knights, this horse isn't moving his feet. He's very grounded. So I would say that this is a moment from this administration to direct from what matters, the Jeffrey E. files, right, to something that gets us all talking and distracts us, right? It's bread and circus, but it does have real consequences. And I get it. Like, it is frightening to see, and I'm sure a lot of you liked, Jimmy and whatnot. And by the way, I think he's going to be okay. We'll talk about it in membership, but I don't think we'll see him on TV for a bit, but we'll talk about it. But we are in these very strange times. And I think it's really important that we stay grounded and that we don't get caught up in the news cycle. I will tell you, I can't bear more than 10 minutes of the news. It's just too much. It's too over the top. That UK visit was so over the top. The flyover and the red carpet and Windsor Castle, things that have never been done. The carriage that he was in, never been done for a sitting president. Once again, these are distractions, and they have Prince Andrew to worry about. So I wanted to finish up a bit on a lighter note here with UFO revelations for the rest of 2025. I do think we are going to be hearing something from the government that's a bit more concrete. No, I don't think it's going to be full disclosure, and I don't think we're going to see little green men on the White House lawn, but I do think there's going to be some disclosure that we find out in the next few months. Let's pull a few cards on it. Why am I not surprised that we got the devil? Yeah, that's them, really holding this information hostage. Of course, our government knows, right? But they're holding it hostage, they're chaining it down. So let me see. Knight of Pentacles, that would be the information slowly trickling out, right? Like I said, it's not going to be extraterrestrials on the front lawn of the White House or like on our TVs or something, but it is news coming out. Ace of Swords. I like that because that is the truth coming out. That is the sword of truth. So, and it's the truth being communicated to us. It is so time to find out more about all of this. Five of Swords, we're not going to hear all of it because so many people are so conflicted over this at the top. They are so carefully trying to dictate what we hear and what we are kept in the dark about. So it will be something, maybe enough to appease us, a little bit of something juicy that we can, get into, but it won't be everything. But we knew that anyways, didn't we? So, all right, let's finish with a 3-card pull. I just want to remind everyone the tarot seminar, you can sign up for that here on YouTube. That is at the Awaken Your Mind level and above. And the pet astrology, I hope everyone had a chance to read my blog. I put the link in under posts, and I will do a new one for the week. It's for your cats and dogs, how the astrology affects them each day and the week, so you can, and what things to look for health-wise, and even like with their emotions that you can pay attention to. So, and don't forget, psychic development classes every Tuesday. You can join anytime. And if you can't make it at that time, that's fine. I upload it. You can watch it at your leisure. And I also give you the notes. I should say we. I just put out a quiz for the psychic development folks. And so far, everyone's gotten 90 to 100%. So you're retaining the information. So I like that. So let's do a nice 3-card pull. I love this deck. It's an animal deck, so I love it. Okay. All right. And just using your intuition, your gut instinct, which one do you feel drawn to? 1, 2, or 3? What message does Spirit have for you this week? Here we go. Number 1, 6 of Pentacles. That is the card of a return to normalcy. So if you've been feeling like your life is chaotic and imbalanced, this is things returning to normal. If you've been worried about a young person, this can also reflect that. But good things. If you've been having financial issues, this is an abundance of money. This is a card of generosity, having so much that you can share with others. Number 2, Page of Swords. I like that. So that is you taking action, going on a new journey, really putting yourself out there. You've been stalling and now you are moving forward. This in particular for me can be 2 things. 1, moving forward in a legal sense. If there's been a legal case that's just been dragging in your life, an inheritance, a divorce, something like that, custody hearing, it moves forward. And also you moving forward with a written project. You start to get your book out there, your blog, your podcast, anything to do with communication. Okay. And then number 3, Queen of Wands. Love that. She is the ultimate entrepreneur. She listens to her intuition and it guides her well. She's a wonderful business person and she lives with passion and enthusiasm, excitement. This would be you starting a new business, taking your side hustle, your hobby, leveling it up. Or if you're really content with your job, this is you getting promoted. Now you're a manager, a director. And it's in a joyous way, though. So this is something that you really like because out of all the queens, she is the one that is the most passionate. So, all right, everyone, this has been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me on another Sunday night. We'll meet again next Sunday. I like doing this every Sunday. That way we all know what to expect, and I think it's working out. And if you haven't already, please click like, subscribe, share, check out membership, leave a nice comment, or not nice. It doesn't really matter. If you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it still boosts my algorithm and gives me money. So, all right, my friends, have a beautiful week. Enjoy what's left of the eclipse, but we'll be in that eclipse window for some time. So, all right, bye, everybody.